Hello and welcome. Many of us grew up watching MASH. Some of us still enjoy watching the reruns today. We grew attached to the quirky and diverse group of doctors and nurses stationed at the 4077. They created their own insanity to deal with an insane situation. And while it was predominantly a comedy, the show wasn't afraid to explore deeper emotions and themes. MASH made us laugh, made us cry, and dealt with many social and political issues. The TV show ran from 1972 to 1983 and was set in the Korean War, which went from 1950 to armistice in 1953. The show was based on a book that was then made into a movie. In this video, we'll look at the actors and characters that made up the television show MASH. Walter Radar O'Reilly, played by Gary Berghoff. The character of Radar brought a sweet innocence to the show. He slept with a teddy bear, cared for animals, and he wrote home to his mother. Named Radar for his unique ability to hear the helicopters before anyone else and know what is about to happen, Gary Berghoff played Radar in the movie and is the only actor from the movie to have a regular part in the TV show. Berghoff asked to reduce his appearances after Season 5 due to feeling burnt out. In the beginning of Season 8, in the two-part episode titled Goodbye Radar, the character Radar received word that his uncle had died and he was discharged from the army to go home and help his mother run the farm. Interestingly, Berghoff was born with a condition causing his fingers on his left hand to be smaller. In the show, he is almost always seen holding a clipboard or some other prop to hide his left hand from the camera. It is very hard to spot, but it can be seen in this shot here. Berghoff went on to be a regular on the game show Match Game from 1974 to 1979. He has had some smaller roles in television and movies. He is also an inventor and a musician. Father Mulcahy, played by William Christopher, the quietly spoken, calm, spiritual leader of the gang, Mulcahy often served up counsel and wise words when needed. William Christopher had small parts in movies and TV and was active in theatre before and after MASH. He did some voice work on the Smurfs cartoon series in the later 80s. He also appeared in 4 episodes of The Love Boat, and then in 2012 he had 7 episodes in Days of Our Lives. Colonel Henry Blake, played by McLean Stevenson. Henry Blake was the lovable commander of the 4077, trying to do his best but in over his head running a surgical unit in the war. He was kind-hearted and friendly and like a small-town doctor who finds himself in a crazy situation. The relationship between Colonel Blake and Radar offered up a lot of comedy in the early days of the show. The two actors had great timing together.
Radar!
Yes, sir.
I want you to get Captain Pierce and tell him I want to see him. Well, show him in.
A lot of fans will agree that the leaving of Colonel Henry Blake at the end of Season 3 is one of the saddest episodes of the show. Before MASH, McLean Stevenson had appeared in stage productions, in television commercials, performed on Broadway, and was starting to establish himself as a comedy writer. With the success of MASH, McLean later says he had people telling him that he should break out on his own, that he could be a star. He admits that he got a big head about it all. It was his decision to leave the show, though the fate of his character was not revealed to him at the time of filming. Stevenson starred in several sitcoms, but nearly all of them flopped in their first year. He had a few guest appearances in TV shows and filled in for Johnny Carson as the guest host of The Tonight Show 58 times. He is famously quoted as saying, "I thought people were enamoured with McLean Stevenson when the person they were enamoured by was Henry Blake."
What in the name of Marco Blessed Polo is going on here?
And it'd be a nice gesture to your commanding officer who could make your life so miserable if he wanted to.
Colonel Sherman T. Potter, played by Harry Morgan. Morgan first appeared in season 3 of MASH in an episode called The General Flipped at Dawn, where he played a mentally deranged general. He then accepted the role of the different character, Colonel Potter, for season 4 onwards. Colonel Potter was a straight-laced army man, but he showed care and compassion and good sense. He represented a father figure in the show. He had a love of horses and adopted a horse named Sophie, who was a gift from Radar. And he had some great non-swear explanations, including horse hockey, buffalo bagels, and beaver biscuits. Harry Morgan's acting career spanned over 6 decades, and he has been in over 100 films. And yet he said that his character in MASH was his favourite. Trapper John McIntyre, played by Wayne Rogers. Handsome, charming and funny, Rogers and Alan Alda as Hawkeye made a great team. After the 3rd season, Rogers left the show over contract disputes. He didn't want to play sidekick to the Hawkeye character, wanted more diverse roles, and he was annoyed that he had never been given a firm contract for the show. Before MASH, Rogers had appeared in dramas and sitcoms and had a small role in the 1967 movie Cool Hand Luke. After leaving MASH, Rogers had a successful acting career, appearing mostly in TV movies, and saw success on the 1979 TV comedy House Calls, which ran for 3 seasons. Rogers was also a successful investor, with regular appearances on the show Cashing In, and started his own trading investment corporation called Wayne Rogers & Co.
Frank, when I got into this war, I had a very clear understanding with the Pentagon. No guns. I'll carry your books, I'll carry a torch, I'll carry a tune, I'll carry on, carry over, carry forward, carry Grant, cash and carry me back to old Virginia. I'll even Harry carry if you show me how, but I will not carry a gun.
All right, Captain Fraidy Cat.
Benjamin Franklin Hawkeye Pierce, played by Alan Alda. Hawkeye is surely the best-known character from the show. A drafted doctor, he was against army regulations, conformity and authority. The character of Hawkeye brought moments of comedy and sensitivity to the show. Before MASH, Alda had a successful theatre career and had starring roles in a couple of movies and various TV roles, including comedy shows like That Was the Week That Was and What's My Line. During the run of MASH, Alda co-wrote 19 episodes and directed 32 episodes of the show. He continued to appear on comedy panel shows, and he wrote and starred in the 1979 film The Seduction of Joe Tynan and the 1981 comedy The Four Seasons. After MASH, Alda has continued to have a successful acting career, most notably his role in the last season of The West Wing, appearances in ER and The Blacklist, and his role in Ray Donovan. He has also starred in films like Betsy's Wedding, What Women Want, The Aviator, Tower Heist, and in 2022, Ray Donovan the movie. Alda is a spokesperson for women's rights. He also has an interest in science and was the host of the TV show Scientific American Frontiers. He has written 2 autobiographical books, which I highly recommend. Around 2015, Alda was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, which, when last reported, presents for him as a slight tremor in his hands. He was born in 1936. He would have been 36 when MASH first aired in 1972, and he is now 88. B.J. Honeycutt, played by Mike Farrell. The character of B.J. Honeycutt came in season 4 to replace Wayne Rogers. He was quite different from the previous characters on the show, as Honeycutt was a loyal husband and father rather than the womanising Trapper and Hawkeye. It was a big role to fill, and I personally liked Farrell's portrayal, which could be quite funny and sensitive, and it was a nice compliment to the character of Hawkeye. He is often remembered for the full moustache that he grew in for season 7 of the show. It reflected the fashion of the time, but would not have been allowed in the army. Farrell had a number of TV appearances and a stint on Days of Our Lives to his credit, but MASH was the breakout role that made his career. After MASH, Farrell's acting career continued, mostly with small parts and TV movies. Most notably, he was the voice of Jonathan Kent in Superman, the animated series. He played Dr. James Hansen in the drama series Providence, did 3 episodes of Desperate Housewives, appeared in Supernatural, Law & Order SUV, The Red Road, and most recently 2 episodes of NCIS in 2019. Farrell has written 2 autobiographical books, and he is an activist for many political and social causes, particularly his work to get rid of the death penalty. He was born in 1939. He would have been 36 when he joined the show in 1975, and he is now 85. Frank Burns, played by Larry Linville. Frank Burns was the weaselly, incompetent doctor whose character brought a lot of humour to the early seasons of MASH. He was a good opposite for the others to play off, and he must have been a good actor because people hated the Frank character, while all reports say that Larry Linville was a professional, caring, nice guy. Before and after MASH, Linville's resume is filled with one-off guest TV spots and TV movies. He never again reached the fame of his character on MASH. Linville left the show after his contract was up at the end of 5 seasons. He was offered another contract, but he declined to stay. He said that there was nowhere else to go with the character, and the cartoon-like bad guy didn't fit with the more serious scripts of the later seasons. Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan, played by Loretta Swit. The role of head nurse and one of the only female main characters had to be a hard one to play. I thought the character of Margaret matured and grew after the character of Frank Burns left the show. Loretta Swit was able to portray Margaret as strong, capable, and soft and feminine, a hard line to walk for any actor. Swit had done some theatre and a few TV spots before landing the role of Margaret in MASH. After MASH, she has done several guest spots in TV shows and appeared in TV movies, and has returned to the theatre, appearing in several plays. She's also hosted a few documentaries, including one on the Korean War. Swit is an animal rights activist and has written 2 books. She was born in 1937. She would have been 35 when MASH first aired, and she is now 86. Major Charles Winchester, played by David Ogden Stiers. Charles Winchester entered the show in season 6. He was educated and a talented surgeon, but his snobbery made him a good opposite for the other characters to play off. Ogden Stiers came from a background in theatre and Broadway, and he had had small parts in TV shows. After MASH, he found success as a voice actor, featuring in many Disney movies, and he played D.A. Michael Reston in a string of Perry Mason TV movies in the late 80s. Among numerous TV spots and movie appearances, he was in the 1998 TV comedy 2 Guys, a Girl and a Pizza Place, and the 2002 sci-fi series The Dead Zone. Corporal Maxwell Klinger, played by Jamie Farr. The Klinger character was the first main character in the TV series that did not appear in the movie or the book. Klinger dressed in drag and tried other antics in an attempt to be sent home on psychiatric grounds. That was until he took over the role of company clerk in season 8. He was meant to be a one-off appearance, but the producers liked the character and brought him back several times before offering him a contract at the beginning of season 4. Before MASH, Jamie Farr had small parts in TV and movies. He found some success on a comedy variety show, The Red Skelton Show, and would remain lifelong friends with the host, Red Skelton. During and after the run of MASH, Farr has been a host on several game shows, starred in TV movies, had guest TV spots, and small parts in bigger movies like Cannonball Run. He has also appeared in commercials for IBM computers and other brands, and had success on Broadway. He was born in 1934. He would have been 38 when he first appeared in MASH, and he is now 90. I hope you enjoyed this look back at the television show that was MASH. Please comment below and let me know your favourite episode or memories. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos like this and give the video a like if you liked it.